What's up, sports fans? This is the Lucas Ross Sports Channel, and it's time to continue our 2023 college football predictions for the 2023 college football season. Up next, it's the Florida State Seminoles, a team that's coming off a really good season last year, going 10-3, 10-win season last year for this Florida State team. And this is a team that's getting a lot of hype. You look at 2023, this team is getting a lot of hype from, this upcoming season. This team has a chance to maybe make the college football playoff for the first time in 9 years. And also, the returning production they have coming back is really a lot. They have some veteran experienced players coming back on both sides of the football. And not just that, they've recruited at a high level, including guys in the transfer portal. So you could tell that this Florida State program is starting to change under Mike Norvell. So this team and this program is heading in the right direction. We'll see if they can live up to those expectations for 2023. So let's get right into here with Florida State's prediction. Let's look at the schedule for 2023. Again, coming off a 10-3 season last year. They're going to have plenty of talent. They do have Jordan Travis coming back, potentially a Heisman Trophy quarterback contender. We'll see how good he's going to be. You look at the schedule, they do play LSU there on Sunday night on September the 3rd on Labor Day weekend. That's in Orlando. That's going to be a pretty big game there in the non-conference. That's a rematch from last year's matchup. Southern Mississippi out of the non-conference, and they also play North Alabama, so they don't have a tough non-conference schedule. But with LSU there, that's really a tough game there on the schedule. But they also play Florida in the non-conference on the road, so they do have to play two SEC teams in the non-conference, and that kind of what makes the schedule a lot tougher for Florida State. So let's get right into the prediction here for Florida State. Let's go game by game and give you an official prediction for this Florida State team. And it starts with that first game here on September the 3rd against LSU at Orlando. This is going to be a pretty good matchup. Like I said, it's kind of similar to last year. It could be a defensive battle. Maybe it's a high-scoring game this upcoming season. And if you saw my LSU video, you already know who I predicted to win this game. I like LSU in this one because I think the motivation's really there for Brian Kelly. And also, I think, they're going to be having revenge on their minds here in this ball game as well. And with that being said, I think LSU does beat Florida State here in a pretty close one. It is a revenge game, so I'm going to say that LSU does defeat Florida State here to begin 2023. So I got Florida State starting off 2023 with a record of 0-1 before taking care of business against Southern Mississippi here on September the 9th. So I got Florida State now improving to 1-1. And they'll play back-to-back road games here with Boston College and Clemson. Boston College is a team that does return a lot of production from last year. They do, have some talent on the roster, and this is not going to be an easy game for Florida State. I don't think you can kind of overlook Boston College because you're heading into a big game against Clemson next weekend, and I think Florida State's going to be really focused on Clemson the next weekend. And with that being said, I think this is a close one, but I think Florida State does come out with the win at the end of the day. I just think they're more talented and more experienced on both sides of the football before Boston College. So Florida State, I think, will win that one on the road in a close one against Boston College, and I got them improving to 2-1. Clemson on the road after that on September 23rd. Probably the biggest game in the ACC heading into next year. It could be, probably a college game day type game. Maybe if both of these teams are undefeated by this point. Clemson's got a lot of question marks on the offensive side of the football. We don't know how good Caleb Klubnik is going to be at that quarterback position. We know he's going to be maybe one of those quarterbacks that maybe can really take a big step this year. But Clemson's defense should be pretty good. I think this is going to be a defensive battle. Clemson is at home, though, so it's in Death Valley, and it's obviously a tough place to play. So this is a tough game to call for me. With that being said, it being a 50-50 game, I usually just go with home field advantage. I'm going to say that the Tigers of Clemson do defeat Florida State here on September 23rd. It will be a close game, though, and I got Florida State now falling to 2-2. Virginia Tech after that on October the 7th. This is a bye week before playing this game. Virginia Tech is a team that I don't expect to be all that good this year. Maybe they are a sleeper team in the ACC somehow, but I think Virginia Tech is going to be not really that good this year after what the season they had from last year. So I think Florida State will win this one pretty easily. They are back at home, so they got a bye week before playing this game as well, so that gives them time, to regroup after a loss to Clemson. Syracuse after that on October 14th. This is going to be a really good, sneaky Syracuse team. They were really a good, sneaky team last year in the ACC, and I kind of expect them maybe to be a 6 or 7 win type team, but Florida State does get them at home, so I'm not really, too concerned about Florida State, having any problems in this game. With that being said, I think the Seminoles do knock off Syracuse here on October the 14th, maybe by a couple touchdowns. So I think the Seminoles win that one, and now I got them improving to 4-2. Up next, it's Duke on October the 21st, a really good Duke team coming into 2023. This is a team that's also getting a lot of hype. They're also potentially to be a top 25 team. This team went 9-4 last year. They do have a lot of production coming back. This won't be an easy game here for Florida State. I think this is kind of like a back-and-forth game. The good news is that Florida State does get this one at home, and you're talking about two teams that have a lot of experience coming back for both sides of the football. But with that being said, with Florida State being at home and also home field advantage, I'm going to go with the Seminoles here to knock off Duke here, and I got Florida State now improving to 5-2. Wake Forest after that on the road on October the 28th. They do play back-to-back road games here, so they got two back-to-back road games here on this schedule. Wake Forest and Pittsburgh. Wake Forest, though, is a team that does lose Sam Hartman at quarterback. He's now transferred over to Notre Dame. That's the big loss there. But I think this is still going to be a really good Wake Forest team. I kind of don't expect them, to have a downfall year. I'm kind of expecting them to be that underdog team in the ACC perhaps. But Florida State does have the more experience in this game. And with that being said, Wake Forest just has a lot of question marks. We don't know how good they're going to be. With that being said, I'm going to go with Florida State here to knock off Wake Forest here on the road on October the 28th. So I got Florida State now improving to 6-2. Pittsburgh after that on the road on November 4th. So now they're heading into the month of November, and this is where kind of, the schedules kind of get really, get really tough for these teams. And also November time is usually when upsets occur, but Pittsburgh's got a lot of question marks as well. I don't know how good they're going to be this upcoming season. Florida State does have the more experience in this game. And also, this is back-to-back road games, so you're coming off a win against Wake Forest on the road. Pittsburgh is going to be a lot tougher of a road game than I think of Wake Forest is. But Florida State, like I said, has the more experience, and I think they'll be ready by this time, and also they'll be better on the offensive side of the ball for a little while. So Florida State, I think, will knock off Pittsburgh here on the road in a close matchup, and that improves their record to 7-2. Miami after that on November the 11th, a rival game here. This is a Miami team that's coming off a really tough season last year. They got Tyler Van Dyke coming back at quarterback, though, so that's the good news here for this Florida State, or actually this Miami team, especially coming off a 5-7 record last year. This team should be a lot better than they were last year, but the bad news is they do have to play Florida State here on the road. This is a rival game, though. You never know what can happen. Florida State, though, does have home field advantage. That favors them. They also have the experience. But that being said, I'm going to go with the Seminoles here to knock off Miami here on November the 11th. So I got Florida State beating Miami. Then they take care of business here against North Alabama. So now I got them improving to 9-2. And then they end things out here with Florida here on the road on November 25th. A Florida team that has a lot of question marks heading into the 2023 season. Billy Napier, how motivated can he get this Florida team to get back to where it needs to be? They got Graham Mertz coming in, the transfer from Wisconsin, to help them out, so that's the good news there. But Florida, what concerns me is their offense. I don't know how good this passing attack is going to be for them either, so you got a chance to be a really good team this year. Florida, though, is a team that, can really pull off an upset here perhaps. And Florida's, on the road at Florida is a tough place to play. And with that being said, it's a 50-50 game for me, and it's obviously a rival game. You never know what can happen. And with that being said, I'm going to go with the Gators here. I'm going to go with the Gators with an upset because, like I said, November time is usually when upsets happen, and this is kind of one of those games that happens in the month of November. So I got Florida State finishing with an overall record at 9-3 for 2023. I know Florida State fans won't agree with that record, but it is what it is. I just think the schedule is kind of a little bit tougher for this Seminoles team. But I like Florida State this year. They're definitely a 10-win team and potentially a college football playoff type team. We're just trying to get the overall record for these teams as well. But 9-3 is my official prediction. Let me guys know what you think about this Florida State team. What do you think their overall record is in 2023? And stay tuned here for more sports content on the Lucas Ross Sports Channel.